Hi, Steve here, and this is my weekly diet update video. I don't have much to report this week. I've lost maybe about 5 pounds, but I don't really consider that progress because I can add or take off 5 pounds from day to day. So but I didn't get a chance to check my body fat percentage, so I'll have that for next week. But I stuck to my diet this week and I went to the gym. And I didn't drink any soda, so I haven't had soda in 2 weeks. Okay, now that that's out of the way, this week I will be sharing my PlayStation 1 collection. And this is a small PlayStation 1 collection. I don't have very many games for PlayStation 1 right now. I had a larger PS1 collection about 10 or 15 years ago, but I left them in my car when I went somewhere and I was gone longer than I expected, and I came back and someone had jacked them all. I'm not supposed to talk about that. My wife gets heated when I tell that story, so I have acquired a few more PlayStation 1 games over the past 15 years and a new PlayStation 1, the little mini PlayStation 1. Back in the day, I thought it was an amazing feat to put a PlayStation 1 on this little tiny thing, but now we have all of our little phones that are a million times stronger than this, and they're 10 times smaller, but I thought this was pretty amazing back in the day. It was almost the size of a Discman, and you could play PlayStation 1 games on it. And then I have its little controller, of course, and then a Mad Catz controller if I want to play 2-player games. Okay, I'm going to try to make it quick this week, so I'm going to run through these games I have. The first one isn't actually a game, and I don't have the game of Symphony of the Night, but this is the soundtrack to Castlevania Symphony of the Night for PlayStation 1. Someone gave it to me at a GameStop or Funko Land or whatever it was called back then, and I never played the game too much, but I did listen to the soundtrack a lot. It has all the music from every Castlevania game up until Symphony of the Night, so I thought I'd share that. And here is Star Wars Masters of Terakasi. I think that's how you pronounce it. A fighting game with Star Wars characters. A lot of people don't like this, but I really like this game because I like Tekken and I love Star Wars, so this kind of combines the two. A lot of people say it's clunky and slow and the controls are bad, but after you give it a few matches, you kind of get the hang of it and you know how the game works, know how the patterns work, and you know how the character moves and how to pull off moves. And I think it's a pretty solid game. I think it's pretty fun, and it's fun to fight each other with Star Wars music playing. It has the original John Williams Star Wars music playing on the levels. And it's kind of fun to go through the game and unlock all the hidden characters, kind of like Tekken. The only problem I have with this game is it doesn't have Lando on it, and Lando is my favorite Star Wars character, but he's not on it. But you still got Han and Leia and Luke, Vader, Boba Fett, and then a few made-up characters for the game. Here's Rainbow Six Lone Wolf. I think I picked this up for cheap at a yard sale or a thrift store. It's hard to find PlayStation 1 games anywhere. I never see them anywhere at yard sales or thrift stores, so anytime I see one, if it's $1 or so, I pick it up. Here is Siphon Filter. This is one of the original third-person shooter games. Kind of reminds me of Gears of War or a 007 game. Okay, this piece of software right here I've spent the most time with out of any game in my life. It's called MTV Music Generator Volume 1. I picked this up for PlayStation 1. I wasn't expecting it to be as great as it is. You can pretty much compose anything, any type of music you want on this, and it was pretty cheap at the time. I have the PC version now that I play with all the time till this day. I've never moved on to better advanced music composition programs. I still play with this thing. But the PlayStation 1 version is very similar to the PC version. I don't think it gives you as many tracks. You might get 20 tracks of that you could work with. But this game is very user-friendly. When I was a kid, I wanted to be a video game music composer, but I never followed that Probably better that I didn't, but that was what my passion was back then, and I still like to do it. I still like to compose little songs or little music, but I wanted to be a video game music composer when I was a kid, and this thing gave me all the tools to practice that. Very user friendly. It has sample riffs you could play with that are pre-made riffs, but you could go in and build all your own riffs and just compose your whole song by yourself with the instruments they have on this game. They have hundreds, maybe thousands of instruments on this. I really recommend this if you want something cheap and easy to make music with. I haven't even delved deep enough into every option on this game, and I've had it for almost 2 decades, but you can create your own music video on this one. I really just can't talk this up enough. I would recommend the PC version. I don't know if it's hard to get a hold of now. I picked up this recently at a game shop up in Washington, actually, for $5, so I thought I'd have it for PlayStation 1 in case whatever new Windows program ever doesn't run the PC version I have. Then I have Medal of Honor. I guess this is the first Medal of Honor for PlayStation 1, first-person shooter. You could actually play it with the dual analog sticks, like modern games. It's set up to play it like that. This is kind of ahead of its time, actually. For PlayStation 1, you wouldn't expect a first-person shooter like this on PlayStation 1. The music on this game is really good. It's that Michael Giacchino. He's a big Hollywood music composer now, but back then I think he just did games. And then I have this other one, Medal of Honor Underground. This one's a lot more of the same first-person shooter stuff, World War II. Really good soundtrack. Toy Story 2, the game. I'm not really into Toy Story, but it was 50 cents or $1 at the Goodwill, so I thought I'd pick it up. This might be something my daughters would want to play when they get a little bit older. 007, Tomorrow Never Dies. I have to get anything 007. This is a pretty decent third-person shooter, kind of in the same vein as Siphon Filter. The music in here is really good, too. I think Tommy Tallarico did the music for it. It's not David Arnold who did the music for the movie, but the music in the game is pretty good too. Here is Martian Gothic. This is a survival horror game. I think I've gone over this before. I can't really figure out what I'm supposed to do on it. It's a lot like Resident Evil in space. You have 3 or 4 astronauts you take control of, and you're on a contaminated space station or something, and you can't interact with the other astronauts or you'll die, so you have to figure out puzzles and stuff in different little sections of the space station or the ship or whatever it is. I would like to put more time into this, but I seem to get lost whenever I play it. WWF SmackDown. Let me tell you something, Triple H. I'm gonna lay the smackdown. Oh yeah, dig it! Actually, I don't even think Macho Man was around then. Anyway, I don't really care for wrestling games after the WCW NWO Revenge, but I just got this because it was cheap at a shop I stopped by in Idaho. And then here is Star Wars Episode 1 Jedi Power Battles. This is sort of a hack and slash beat 'em up based on Episode 1 Phantom Menace. It seems pretty good from what I played of it. It kind of reminds me of those Lord of the Rings hack and slash games for PlayStation 2, but this one's based on Star Wars. Anyway, that's about it for this week. Happy Easter. Bye.